Hey there guys, welcome back to another Monster Super League episode. It's your boy Odin, and of course we're back here to cover again a little bit of the 433 fiasco that was announced yesterday, but all of a sudden they've decided to take it back due to the backlash from the community over the whole issue of repeatable quests and sliming. I'm gonna pull up the developer notes here in 1 second. So this is from roughly, 30 minutes ago or so, and it looks like they've kind of just laid it out in play terms that they've made a mistake. They said that after hearing the community's concerns about the future of MSL, we have come to the conclusion to discard our current plan to remove repeatable quests, but to give them some level of importance and adjustment. So clearly they understand that it was a pretty bold move on their part, and the quick reaction by the community was basically to make them aware of how much it really affects the game itself, not only by losing their player base, but also due to the fact that they would have to make a lot of commitment to a lot of changes that quite frankly I don't think they were prepared for in the long run or in the short run. Just myself, I pulled up my Facebook page just because I wanted to share something with you guys that I had actually posted yesterday. So I kind of just zoomed in here to my post, and pretty much what it is that myself and a couple of other clanmates had found this particular post from 2018, in which they had decided to allow, let's see if I can make this larger, here we go. So pretty much what happened is they had encouraged people to create guides to allow some of the newer players and some of the older players who may be returning an opportunity to hear from other players about certain types of events or ways or specific guides about ways that people could progress through the game quickly. And in this particular you know post back from 2018 in May, 3rd of May to be exact, they pretty much said there are no restrictions on creating guide for specific dungeons, Astro League, CBC, CRD, and I went ahead and highlighted slime farming, gold farming, or any other features you think is worth sharing. That just kind of goes back to their original post of them calling this an exploitive measure, in which clearly they understood that, you know what, we encouraged it in the past, we've been using this as a main feature in the game for 3 years. Hey, let's monetize it and change it and get rid of this, but at the same time, let's call this an exploitive measure. It's just kind of, very illogical there. I totally understand if a lot of you guys are probably going to quit after this particular incident. Totally not, worth the headache if or the time investment that you're going to put into the game if you're going to be kind of up in the air about whether or not the game's going to continue and basically having to go through all this headache again. But personally, I think that it is a right move on their part to take that back. I don't think it was handled the right way. I think that even just their whole announcement through the developer notes was a little bit, I want to say out of their league, but just also at the same time a little bit too far ahead in what their thinking was. Clearly they were looking like, oh, hey, this is not going to affect everybody. I know that they're going to cut down on a lot on the bots and so, but maybe they hope to retain a lot of their player base regardless of the loss of sliming. But if you really look at the game itself, sliming is a major part of the game, and it's how you stay, basically free to play. And so I don't think they had much of a choice but to remove this from their particular post or from their particular schedule and update. Other than that, guys, I really think that this is kind of a good thing to have happened to MSL, because now the developers know that this is a major issue and that perhaps if they remove that again or even consider removing that in the near future, they will more than likely have to deal with a lot of the community backlash, not to mention the player loss that will come as an effect from these types of decisions. So I think it's a good learning process for everybody. But all in all, it looks like MSL is going to continue as usual. Disregard whatever you've heard in the previous notes, just know that sliming will stay the same. Quests and challenges might change. Maybe they'll add up a couple of things here and there. I am totally up for them making changes to those things, but it's just this was kind of the main issue due to the fact that it affects every single content in the entire game itself. Methodically speaking, sliming contributes to your own ability to play, also to your own ability of basically keeping entertained with the game. There are not many games like Monster Super League where you can log in and be totally free to play. This is one of those games that's kind of like a rare gem in today's market of pay to win type games. You look at Dokkan Battle, for example. I played that game for almost 2 years, dumped a whole crap of money on that game, and even up till now, even though it's like, let's say good, you really think about it in the end, it's just a collector's game, and you're just spitting out money for stupid chances of getting cards that are just sitting there digitally on your phone. Monster Super League allows you to play and get these characters digitally on your phone, but for free, and also it kind of encourages you to keep playing with the community. From my perspective, I think that they should definitely rework a lot of the content in the game. After you reach a certain limit, there's no more story. After you reach a certain limit, there's just really no reason for us to go in and keep doing dungeons a billion times over, other than the fact of getting those gem drops. I think they need to change a lot of the gem drops if they want to keep more players entertained. The cost of things within the game itself require a lot of gold in itself, so removing sliming was definitely going to impact that greatly. You think about it, it costs you almost $1 million to $2 million to upgrade a 6-star gem from 1 to level 15, and you're not going to get 2 million gold by removing all your Astro Gems and that ability to convert your Astro Gems into energy. And not being able to create Astro Gems leaves you with only 10 runs a day, and being very selective with the amount of content that you can basically do in a single day. So it's just one of those things that definitely I could see a lot of people being very concerned over. But more importantly, I think that it's safe to say that this is over. The craziness that just occurred is fine now, for now, but proceed with caution, guys. If you decide to, I want to say contribute to the game, do so, but just do it with the notion that what, a lot of people have left the game. Maybe it'll be hard for them to grow their player base again. But just all in all, play the game, but just maybe be on the lookout for other games and things like that. I don't want to say, entirely, oh, leave MSL, but at the same time, I do want to say, I've seen a lot of people quit already, including some of my clanmates, which affects us all, because now we're going to have to fill new roles, and trying to keep players who are at that level that we are is just difficult enough as it is. Without dwelling too much into other things, it currently will take you 2 years to get a decent MSL account if you're a free-to-play player. There was somebody actually that I was reading along last night on Reddit that actually broke down how much you spend on Clanfest and how much you spend on Heroes Fest, and it was somewhere around 18,000 gems in Heroes Fest and another 12,000 gems in Clanfest, because you need 12 summons or I think it's around like 12 different or 8 gifts and 4 eggs to get 1 rotation of a free heroic Nat 5 egg, the light and dark one. So it's just, one of those things where if you really break it down, if you're only getting 1 Nat 5 per 6,000 Astro Gems, that means you need 18,000 gems to get 3 eggs during the Heroes Fest. That's if you get that lucky, and as we all know, the rates on the Nat 5s are still crap. Most of us do get lucky. I have gotten really lucky this past month. We'll see what happens here in this coming weekend in 5 days when the new Heroes Fest comes out. As for now, I would say just take it easy, guys. Play the game, continue to have fun. Try to bat no mind to this. Just be on the lookout for new changes. I'm definitely glad that 433 has decided to step back on this particular change that they were planning on making. But I think that this is overall pretty good for all of us, and therefore I don't think there's much need to worry. I think that from now on they're probably going to cut back on a lot of the issues that they were having as far as sliming and whatnot. I definitely understand their point or their perspective, you know, to try to stop a lot of the spammers, pretty much the people that are just sitting there all day long using these bots to farm Astro Gems. But I think that there's a better way to do that. You know, they could really start to work on maybe finding new ways of catching people that have been doing those types of things, maybe through repetitive moves. You know, it's a computer game. There's a lot of programmers out there that can do certain things, but I think that, you know, human intelligence is good, pretty much to the level where we can figure out ways or some type of codes that will help them basically find out, you know, who is a real player and who is not. But either way, I don't think that bots have really been affecting the game that much, considering the fact that the game itself has been growing, the player base has been growing because of things like being able to play the game all day long. I think that 433 just needs to find a different method of approaching this. But I don't think that removing sliming is probably the way to go. But I could definitely see where you know, increasing the Astro Gems in the game that as you get every week could potentially stop a lot of those people from just doing sliming all day. Maybe they'll be encouraged to actually play the game and do something else. Like, let's say if they had a new event where you had to go in and do a particular amount of damage every week on a different boss, kind of like the Vitra boss. You could even do like maybe like a testing training area where, you know, you can throw certain mons in there, test out different teams, test out different scenarios, and just like be able to look and see how much damage each character is doing. You know, there's a lot of great ideas floating around. I think they can do something like that that will kind of make people kind of come back to the game. Another good idea that I had actually last week was kind of making it like a weekly challenge where you go into this like stage and then you do as much damage as you can, and then you compare that to other, you know, players, and try to rank people and maybe spit out rewards based on a certain amount of damage that everybody deals. Or, you know, maybe let's say kind of like the Tower of Chaos. You know, you have one event where it's, let's say, you know, 10 floors and each boss is like ridiculously hard now, not just as easy as Tower of Chaos. And, you know, people have to really work for it, maybe balance the game a little bit more, where you need some mons to last a little bit longer than others for that type of event. You know, I'm sure they'll find some ways of doing that. If I remember right, Brave Frontier, the original game, that game had a similar feature like that, and it was actually pretty good. I used to enjoy logging in and doing those events, you know, 2 or 3 times a week. For clearing specific, you know, levels, you got a certain amount of rewards or gems or whatever. So just something to spice up the day, pretty much, and keep players away from just bot farming all day long, but actually playing the game. So that's it about the ranting, guys. Sorry about that. I just wanted to let you guys know that everything's good now, and that you guys should continue to play the game, and you know, just enjoy each day that you get from MSL for now. The population is definitely going to be hurt for a little bit here. Maybe we'll have returning players. I'm sure people are probably going to be cautiously optimistic. But just, you know, I want to know what you guys are thinking. Hopefully you guys decide to stay with the game for as long as it's running. And thank you guys for watching. I will catch you guys on the next video.